It's really nice being in a new city, new sights, new surroundings. It's a good day. I suppose I should do the Humanities episode 39 soon. It'd be good to talk to Paddy. I haven't spoken to him for a while. What's this? It's a bar. It's got a very familiar font, and I'll have a wander in. Oh my God! It's you! What are you doing here? In this strange city, owning a bar.
It's been a long time. I've come into some money.
Really? Tell me. Mind you, we don't talk as much as we'd like these days. I suppose it's better to find out. Like, no, it's not really, is it?
I have had 8 children since we last spoke.
8 children?
Yeah.
Are you Doctor Who? I just Doctor Who have children. I don't know.
I've abducted them in a magic post box.
I don't know. You see, that's very good. But when I was wandering along, I just I don't know if you got my message on Twitter before we spoke in this bar that you own.
Let me check. No. Yes.
I've gone and bought some coffee, the most expensive coffee that I bought, and don't go thinking that I've spent like £100 on that stuff that's eaten by luwaks and then pooed out, and then people sell for like hundreds of pounds and dollars and things.
You mean you're not drinking poop coffee?
No, though apparently it is really amazing. So I would like to try poop coffee, but please don't send anything into the show.
I mean, if that's not asking for it, I don't know what is.
No, unless you are a luwak or a professional company. Anyway, Starbucks has started doing a Christmas Reserve, which is on the face of it, a much more expensive coffee, because instead of being about £4 to £5 a bag, it's 11.
Ooh, that's quite a few pounds.
It is a few pounds more, but it's exciting to have something that's different here, because there's lots of coffee they do in the States that just doesn't come over here. Like there's a really beautiful coffee called Komodo Dragon, which is an amazing name for a coffee anyway, which is gorgeous, which isn't over here. And I'm sure I had one recently, which was called Yukon something or other, which wasn't as amazing as it got bear on the front of it, which obviously is a win, but not quite dragon or Komodo Dragon. So yeah, I got this coffee, and the little tag inside says, warm woodsy aromas and holiday accents of mulled spices and orange zest. So this might be the point where I'm kind of like one of those people on the food shows who go like, it reminds me of tangerines and bikes in the summer. It reminds me of flying to the moon on a banana. Oh, my brother was quite friendly.
Yeah, you're like Frank Oz. So what you've done, you fucked yourself there. What you should have done is kept that tag to one side, and then you could have gone, yes, woodsy aromas.
Yeah, but we'll see how it processes, because that's the exciting bit.
So this is the live, the often teased. This is the live coffee test. So
the tag says Starbucks Reserve is the name we give to our rarest small lot coffee, and this holiday season we're blending 2 of them to create an unforgettable cup. Building on the inspiration of last year's inaugural Starbucks Reserve, which we didn't get in Blighty, this year's blend joins 2 extremely limited coffees. Hacienda Alsacia, grown at our very own farm in Costa Rica, and hand-selected aged Sumatra. And Sumatra is a beautiful, juicy coffee in of itself. Both are exceptional in their own right, and both are roasted artfully at our Starbucks Reserve Roastery and Tasting Room in Seattle. Our master blenders have forged a vibrant, modern expression of the holiday, with savoury spice notes and sweet brightness. I like the alliteration of that. It is the gift of extraordinary flavour, a celebration of all the tea's beauty.
Okay.
I think I got distracted there and said teas in the middle because
you did say tea.
Yeah, because you took a slip of tea, and I was like, "Did he take a sip of tea?" And I replaced the with tea. No matter. So yeah, right. I'm going to do a little coffee tasting because I got this on Monday. I don't know why I was walking through the streets of an unknown city past a bar with it, but The heart wants what the heart wants.
Well, I mean, when it's like people that have their own condiments, they keep, maybe some small like barbecue sauce in their bag at all times, or like some peri peri, and they're out and they want to get, they want to go to a bar and eat what they want, but they want that extra kick that they keep their own condiments on them. I think that's normal.
I like that you're trying to normalise this.
I'm trying to normalise anything. This is normal. Behave.
Right, so I'm going to do coffee tasting now. This involves cupping the hand over the top of the cup, and then inhaling and sort of seeing how it smells.
Shall I do it with my tea as well?
No, I don't think you maybe get the same thing.
Smells like tea.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Marvellous. Have you wiggled it enough? Wiggle that bag.
Hang on. Smells a bit more like tea now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've got a little bit on the side. I have my hand over it and it's gone on
the memories of the splosh of the milk, like throwing a stone into a summer pond.
I will add, that was a goof, but I have actually spilled a little bit of tea on my desk now.
Right.
Let me just get it. Hang on.
I'm going to do the smell now. So.
Okay.
Oh, God, you can tell those spice notes. They're beautiful, like very zesty, and I know I really should have cribbed it from there first, because I'm just going like, I agree with everything that's on the tag.
Yes, woody textures and some
but
spicy zest.
It's nice, and a lot of Sumatra's a roast that changes its flavour a lot as it cools down anyway, because of that zestiness. So. Oh, it's beautiful. Really like that. This year's Christmas espresso roast has been probably the best one that we've had. But yes, that's lovely. So let's do the taste test.
I'm glad it smelled good.
Oh, God, it's amazing. And also the room is feeling like this. And it is nice when buying coffee, coming home, and I can smell coffee in my bag. And if I chuck it on the side of the chair and I'm playing a game, I'm like... just inhaling kind of the aroma. But right.
I've had a similar experience this evening, but we'll get to that in a minute.
We will go for that in a moment. Cool.
Ooh.
All right, so with coffee tastings, you slurp the coffee into the top of the mouth, so it rushes across the palate, and then see how it moves you in taste and aftertaste and all that sort of stuff. So this is going to be very, very vocal. It's going to be good radio.
Are you doing the thing you tell me off for every week?
Yes, I am. I'm officially doing that. Also, somebody might have fallen asleep on a bus already, and this just clicked into the podcast, and I just think they're being attacked by a giant snake or turtle. Which
almost like the kick of a good mug of coffee. Like boom, you're awake now.
That's exactly right. Let's give this a try.
Slurp it. Oh, filth.
Oh my word. Oh my. What kind of music do you like? What kind of books do you read? What are you doing next week? Oh my. I'm going to have to...
Do I need to hang up the call and give you a few minutes? Because I'm getting a little uncomfortable.
Right, you know the kind of feeling...
Sorry, I mean close the bar.
That you'd hope to get when paying £7 more for a bag of coffee. Mm. It's kind of going there. Oh my word! It's really. Oh, I can't quite put it into my taste buds. Know how to process quite a lot of stuff, but my taste buds are going like, oh, and really, and oh, and what? Oh, have you seen this? Oh, come and look.
How's the woody texture?
There's almost like a charcoal essence to it. I can sense in the aftertaste, like the dark spices and stuff. It is a dark roast as well. Mm. That is a very beautiful, woody, wintry coffee. It's very kind of after dinner coffee as well. If you don't want to kind of have a pudding, just sitting with this afterwards, you could sit with it for quite some time. Plus, if you had it in the morning, it is one of those that can speak upon the mind and the palate within moments of poetry and religion, inspiring a soul beyond REM and sleep into the magnificence of the morn.
I'm going to have to ask you, sir, to please remove your penis from the cup of coffee. This is a public bar.
I've got a Johnny on. It is amazing. That's why we'll be enjoying that throughout. But yeah, it's fun that something like this has come over, because we don't get all the same sort of blends and roasts as America does. So
a new experience.
Yeah, and hopefully it'll tempt them into doing more, or maybe bringing some of the other blends over.
Ooh.
So yeah, happy lad.
Hashtag send us some blends in the post, please, Starbucks.
Well, I do have access to a few of them. I've probably got about 6 or 7 bags of regular stuff here anyway. But hold on, a little while ago you told me that you had a coffee and you liked it, and I don't think we've ever spoken about that.
Well, it was the only one I'd had since.
Okay.
Except, actually, no, this is funny. You'll like this. So yesterday at work, someone made a round of teas and coffees, and I did pick up the wrong one. And I quite quickly realised upon initial slurp that was actually a coffee that I picked up, not a tea. And I went, and then, oh, that's mine, sorry, and we swapped over. That is my only coffee experience since that last one. I said I liked it because there was no tea left.
You usurped me with all that kind of that ponce and poetry. Just
more like who slurped you?
Yeah.
Oh.
So how are you? Because it's been since that last podcast, since we spoke, when you weren't feeling that great anyway.
No.
And we haven't, like, in the meantime, we normally kind of try to get together and sort of play a few games and stuff like that. But it's not been falling together at all. Well, so this is the first time that we've super spoken.
Well, I must say,
ages and ages.
I must say, particularly today, I am feeling rather refreshed at the moment.
You're sounding refreshed. How are your gums?
My gums are still ulcerous, but better. However, I am feeling rather refreshed and awake because I also tried a thing this week. We're vlogging, everyone. We're doing a vlog.
Have you got YouTube hair?
We're trying. I've got my YouTube hair on. I've done 18 makeup tutorials this morning. We're playing the new hot scary game and we're screaming at it and we're getting all the ad revenue. We're taking some expensive technology. I've just bought a PS4 Pro and I've just broken it. I've thrown it on the floor. Give me all your money.
Why don't you take the top off it now? Why don't you take your top off?
Let me just remove
PS4
the top.
Pro.
Let me remove the top of the PS4 Pro. Hang on. We're inside. What do you want to know?
Is it loud?
Hang on. It sounds exactly like you making a loud noise.
Sorry, there's an owl.
No, that was the PS4 Pro. That was perfect. It sounds great. There's like 3 mice in it. There's what appears to be a bit of, is that toast or is that cheese?
Is there a pickled onion in there though?
This
is 1080 pickled onion.
I think I've worked something out. This isn't a PS4 Pro.
Okay.
This is a bin.
Okay.
So back on topic, I've tried something new this evening as well.
Tell me.
I was gifted at work from my new assistant manager who used to work at Lush. She went back to Lush and did some shopping and came back and gave me a bath bomb.
Oh, what kind of bath bomb?
Well, prepare yourself.
I'm not going to run a bath because I don't think it'll.
I don't know.
It'll get to me in time.
The name of the bath bomb is Lord of Misrule.
I thought I got an episode title, but no.
That's a Dark Souls boss, right?
Oh yes.
Isn't that good? And I saw it, and I was like, that's amazing. Like that's D&D. Yeah. I'm putting that in my bath.
Yeah, cool. So what's it like? Have you used it yet?
I just used it maybe half an hour ago. So this is like live taste testing and not taste testing, I guess.
Because that's what our audience want. Because we get less listening figures on these compared to the Dark Souls ones anyway. But what our audience are really screaming out for is more coffee and
bath
more. Bomb. But maybe this pushes us over the edge. Maybe this takes us into a brand new market.
Yeah.
Shall I put this in the little segment things in
tween girls and people that go to coffee shops?
No, shall I put the bath bomb thing in the sort of segment bit in
in
YouTube?
The hashtags. Yeah, do it. Just hashtag bath bomb.
Just see who comes along.
Hashtag Lush.
It's okay. It's okay to have a bath bomb.
It is. So I opened it out of the packet. It smelled. Bomb. Now, you know how the only way I can describe how it smells is, you know how Lush smells?
Yeah, like somebody has used one of those Splatoon guns but full of Starburst.
Yeah, like sherbet and cleanness. It smells like fruity, like a fruity scrub is what it smells like. And it smelled exactly like everything else at Lush, which is fine because I like that smell. And it came out and it was like a light green. It's like an orb, like a magical orb about 4 inches across. And it's like a pale green. I thought, this is interesting. So the bath was filling up, and I sit in the bath as I fill it up because I have reading to do. So I get in and I read, and I make sure the bath gets the optimum temperature. So I threw in the bath bomb when it was, about 6 inches worth of water. It was getting full. I threw it in, and it starts fizzling away. It doesn't bubble per se. It doesn't bubble. It fizzles, and the green starts coming off, and it starts looking good, and it starts smelling really nice, and I'm enjoying it. And it's floating around a little bit. And it's bobbing around, and then, like, out of nowhere, after a minute or so of bubbling, I look down, and my feet are like, it's red now. It's not green. It's red. And what happened is the outside shell has kind of fizzed away enough that it's got to the inside shell, which is like a deep, bubbly red, like a watermelon. Imagine like a watermelon. And I look up, and it's just vomiting red out of the middle of the bath bomb. Red everywhere, just blah, 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 blah. And there was this kind of greeny, reddy smush sort of filling up the bath, and the bath bomb was bobbing up to where I was, and then bobbing back down to my feet, and then bobbing back to my head, and bobbing back to my feet. And it just had a lovely sort of syrupy, soupy, fizzy, smelly, not good at wordsy.
No, that sounds good.
It was good, man. It was good, and it was refreshing, and that had a lovely smell. I sat in the bath for maybe almost an hour.
I was going to say, because this could go two ways, because oftentimes the baths that you want to relax in, you kind of spend 10 minutes, you go, nope, done.
Yeah.
and the ones where you kind of, you have to go to work or something, and you kind of get in and you're like, oh, I'm going to, no.
Well, I was kind of reading stuff. I was reading books and things as well, and I was checking Twitter and informing friend of the show, Morbid Beard, about Judge Dredd over DM. I DM'd you that while I was nude. Eat that. Yeah. And yeah, it was great. I would recommend it to another human who wished to try a fizzy, not bubbly, but fizzy sort of bath. It's called Lord of Misrule, which is...
See, we're quite near Lush, and we have sort of a few folks from therein, and they brought some samples in last year, and I took away with me a bath bomb, a yellow bath bomb, which I was quite excited about. I'm like, shall I save this for my day off? Will I just be like sitting like some sort of distressed millionairess wearing my dressing gown but covered in glitter afterwards, which I was fine with. Looking like an alien princess is a good look for me. A different look.
Goes with your eyes.
And I kind of threw it in the water and went and did other stuff. And I got back, and the water just looked like what would happen if I pissed myself. It was just yellow water, and I was disappointed, and came out smelling like lemon, or like that sort of CK1 horrible stuff that was out a million years ago, which just felt that kind of smelled like a pensioner had pissed themselves and fallen in a bucket of bleach. So I wasn't really that happy.
Well, that's a shame.
Your experience sounds more positive.
It was better, and I was in the bath while it was doing its thing as well. So I was at ground zero when it started bathing watermelon.
That sounds entertaining, bath.
It was good, man. I was I was torn away from what I was reading, and I just watched it for a bit, like, look at it go.
Sweet.
It was good.
I've got a thing to talk about amongst things to talk about.
You got a thing to talk about?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. Let me prepare. Let me adjust the chair. Okay. So 18 minutes in. What would you like to talk about today?
Going well. Right. So all I have done within the past number of weeks generally is watch Tokusatsu stuff.
Okay.
Because it is my flavour, my favourite.
I am unsurprised, but intrigued.
But there's some intriguing happenings within these. So
am I going to need to be googling stuff as we go again, like the fruit one?
No, I think you'd be all right with the former one.
Okay.
Because the thing that got me into into Tokusatsu in the first place was Ultraman X, which was on Crunchyroll last year. And this year's iteration is Ultraman Orb, which launched in July, and I was a bit disappointed because it just didn't click with me within the opening episodes that I'd seen. Probably the first three were a little bit patchy. There was some great fights and stuff, but something didn't quite feel right. There was an interesting hero, a really light-hearted feel, but the mix wasn't there at that point, so I left it, and I think I continued exploring other stuff.
It wasn't your ordinary experience.
No, I think because Ultraman X had snared me in sort of quite early. I was going into that really ignorantly, just thinking, this is going to be trash. It'll be a nice laugh late at night, and it ended up sort of really pulling me in. And to the credit, they've done a completely different show again. But yeah, it turns out the show finds its feet at episode 4, and starts to move to a more definitive goal from there on in.
Okay.
Ultraman Orb himself is wonderfully charismatic. The kids' detective group, Something Search People, are loads of fun. But
wait, is that what they're actually called? Something
Yes.
Search People. Okay.
Yes.
Into it.
Which you can initially sort of put down to maybe Japanese translation, but one of the Something Search People's mum turns up in a later episode and has a go at her because it's she says, you should have called it the people that are searching for something, or she has a proper little go at him, which is funny. But yeah, Orb himself has a past where he's lost his own abilities, and he has to combine the powers of 2 previous Ultramen at a time to form sort of a new form. So he gets like abilities from the different ones that he manages to combine. But for each monster that Orb defeats, he unlocks a brand new Ultraman to draw power from. Yet the villain of the piece, the mysterious juggler, is one who turned away from the light and is assembling a cabal of monsters with each enemy that Orb defeats. So as Orb's getting like these cards for like the different Ultramen, Juggler's getting these the cards for like the different monsters. And what happens when Juggler obtains the card for the Dark Ultraman, Ultraman Belial? And I was like, ooh. But even with the above, it doesn't go anywhere near you think it does. Instead, it goes to a place which had me sort of brandishing fist, sort of growl cheering and sobbing like a loon in equal measure. One of those real kind of mark of a hero moments, which has you gritting your teeth, making a fist and screaming at the telly. In between, there are some lovely stories. In particular, a young merman who's washed ashore and is looked after by a local fish seller, taking care of the boy, feeding him the produce he can't sell, and wondering if anyone will come looking for him. It turns out the reason the boy has been washed ashore and why the ocean is devoid of fish is because of a giant monster under the waves, which is now making its way inland and coming for the boy. Often the show can be a slave to the old suits a little bit, and indeed the Merchild Ep looks like they're using suits from the 50s. But there's a certain charm and respect to that, I think. Ultraman Orb himself in all incarnations looks amazing, and when the new monsters are used, the suit designs are glorious. So yeah, the legacy of Ultraman X's success in the West reaped huge dividends before this. Thanks to Crunchyroll, it was the first to legally stream in the West, and that was then followed by older shows like the original Ultraman from the 1950s, Ultraman 80, Ultraman Mebius, and more of them.
I've seen those on there, yeah. I've seen those on Crunchy, yeah.
And all of that money has clearly been funneled into Ultraman Orb. The mix of practical effects and CG is perfect. There's a lot of money in this. And allegedly Ultraman Orb has been 89% more successful than Ultraman X.
Wow.
So yeah, it's kind of Superman meets Indiana Jones meets Press Gang. And
right.
It's great, but it's doing some really, really cool stuff. Like I say, it takes until episode 4 to kind of find its feet, but I don't know. It reminds me of, for those people who love comics, one of my favourite runs in comics, one of my favourite writers is Mark Waid and his run on The Flash in the 90s, and it's reminding me of that kind of really big, brave superhero stuff, with kind of lots of positivity but lots of darkness to kind of balance it out and to throw you off. And when it does start giving answers, it's they don't disappoint. And I think the thing is, where they've made you laugh initially and they've made you really like the people in, like the Something Search people, the point where things start getting darker and things start getting more tense, you kind of give more of the stuff because you've laughed with them. and to see them going through the mill a little bit is it's kind of heart-wrenching. But they've also cast sort of actors that can do serious stuff and slapstick humour in equal measure. So it's really good. I like it a lot, and the stuff that I've seen is just pure belting.
Do you think you'd be able to watch Ultraman Orb without watching any other Ultramans?
100%.
Okay, so it's like standalone. You haven't got there's no. Well, I suppose there is probably some overarching.
Well, there's they're all kind of set in their own universe, and
are they like Batman's in that respect?
What you mean between like
like how
comics?
Yeah, you got the comic ones, you got the movie ones, you've got the Lego ones. There's like a million different Batmans that exist.
They very much sort of tell their own story and do their own spin on things, but oftentimes they will have like cameos as the series goes on. They might have like a guy from like Ultraman Mebius come in there, and once you're familiar with the series, you kind of get to know some of the different like looks of the suits and the powers and stuff. But they do like really stand on their own 2 feet, and that's a real credit to them. I think that goes with most tokusatsu stuff actually, because even though the likes of Kamen Rider and Super Sentai will go into their big summer crossover movies, where they'll bring in others from different times and like different places and stuff. That's really kind of a bit of a treat for the summer stuff. But they all sort of stand on their own 2 feet. But yeah, it's nice. The main guy wears like a long duster and a fedora, well, which is kind of cool.
Why didn't you lead with that?
I should have done.
Jeez.
Kurenai Guy is the main character's name, and he's great. He's really cool, and the moments of transformation are really, really neat. But like I say, if you do start watching it, give it until episode 4 for it to show what it can do, and then it really starts ramping up to like episode 12, which is just, I think it's episode 12 or 13 where they have the first kind of real mark of a hero sort of test moment, and they start pulling in all the strings that they set up. But it's good. It's funny. It's dark. It's a great family TV show, and it's great to see that with these things being only available on kind of streaming services for the most part, like less than legal streaming services. The first time that something like this has been brought over with Ultraman X, it was incredibly successful. It was followed with a load of the older shows, which were really successful. That money's gone into Ultraman Orb, which looks $1 million. It really does look fantastic on screen. And Ultraman Orb is now 89% more successful than Ultraman X was. So all of that money's going to go into next year's, and that's really cool to see, because I think I read that the folks that own Ultraman were in kind of financial difficulties before that came along. So it's
well,
nice.
It's finding a new market, isn't it? It's finding a new avenue to pursue and a new audience to grab in, and it seems to have worked.
It is, but they're not just sitting on a cash pile. They've clearly thrown the money into this. The mix of practical stuff and and CG is really nice.
Okay.
Really, really well done. But it's good. And I get the feeling that you might enjoy it because of the daftness. And I think that I know when you said it, you were looking for a better way of saying it, but you couldn't find it. But you quite like that degree of kind of. I know you described it as dumb, but that sort of where it's not trying to be difficult to follow. It's just
self-aware
enjoyable.
fun, I think.
Yeah. And there's a lot of, essentially, at least once an episode, Ultraman turns up, one of the monsters turns massive, and they have a wrestling match.
Well, yeah. Okay, again, lead with that.
It's difficult to process this stuff, and like in many ways, and until you've seen them. But in a time where I'm just seeing more and more CG that looks soulless, it's nice to see. One of the things with the money going into the series, when you see the fight, somebody's built a building that Ultraman is ramming a monster's head through, and massive explosions are going off and smoke, and they're actually there, and they're not tipped in, they're actually there. Obviously, like laser fire and stuff like that is hand drawn, might I add.
Right.
The special effects, the CG when it does come in is hand drawn. But yeah, there's a certain romance in this old school filmmaking looking as good as it does, and I don't know. The more that I watch of this stuff, the more I'm enticed to watch more of it, because it's just nice to put on. Like if I'm feeling down or if I'm feeling knackered and stuff, it usually ends up making me happy, and you can't ask for much more than that. And especially at a time when Western stuff seems to take itself incredibly seriously.
Right, like I can't keep up with many. I think Game of Thrones is the only show I can keep up with that's like proper Western big telly, if you know what I mean. At the moment, it's
you know this sort of thing with the way that you've fallen into JoJo, because that is big, bright, brilliant, daft. Like it will kind of have you clenching a fist at certain points. Plot will go places that you don't expect. It just seems like the people that are behind these shows aren't doing them because, these are our beats and these are our plot points and this is where we should go and this is what the audience wants. It's like it comes across that they're having fun. And I love that to pieces.
Well, in the recent season of JoJo, in fact, is that almost exactly.
Tell me about it.
Well, yeah, I'm officially now caught up in the anime.
How do you feel about that?
I don't know, man. I've got to wait a week for new episodes now. It's killing me. It's still, the new anime is still coming out, and I've also got a hold of the manga, and I've been reading that, and I've now caught up to that point in the manga as well.
Really?
The way I'm saying it is I'm gonna keep up with the manga until this season's done, and then all bets are off, and I'm on my way through the next 4 parts, because I'm enjoying watching it with Laura and kind of seeing all the new stuff, kind of going, what?
How's Laura enjoying it?
Oh, she loves it too. Like, again, we've got to be like, we can't put it on when we've had a long, hard, awful day, because you need to be receptive to it, definitely. But this particular season, the Diamond is Unbreakable season, which is the 4th season that's coming out now, where the last season, Stardust Crusaders, was about 5 very manly, awesome, manly men trekking across a desert, trying to track down a 100-year-old vampire, doing cool manly things with cool manly spirit powers, and there's nothing wrong with that. That was a superb season.
That was me genuinely kind of beaming because I love that stuff.
Yeah, just 5 manly dudes solving all their problems like men, and sometimes having a nice little drink. This season's very almost sort of not back to basics, because that's probably not right. It's more grounded. The entire season happens in one town. Or so far, anyway. I would say that I'm probably 90% of the way through based on how much of the manga I haven't read yet. And the entire season takes place in a single town called Morio. Which, interesting fact, the original translation that was made very freely available was done by a Chinese student who did it for a project, a translation project. A Chinese or a Japanese student who did it for a translation project. And he translated the entire run of Diamond is Unbreakable. But not especially well.
Okay.
And for a long time, it was the only version out. And as such, the town in this, among other mistakes, the town was called Duwang. D-U-W-A-N-G. Duwang.
Yeah.
And there's some amazing panels floating around from this thing of a character sitting down, eating a sandwich, and the caption is, "What a beautiful Duwang." It's wonderful. And I've clicked through a few of the kind of the big Duwang things, and it's terribly written, but very, very funny. But anyway, the plot all happens in a single town with the new JoJo, Josuke Higashikata, and his stand power is Crazy Diamond, or Shining Diamond on the TV show, because they can't use the names from the songs.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So a lot of them are similar, but you know, and they say the name in Japanese. So he'll go, Crazy Diamond, and it will say Shining Diamond at the bottom. Like, I know what he said there.
Cool.
I see it.
I love it.
Which is very similar to Star Platinum from the last one, that it can punch really, really fast and really, really good. But it can also fix things with its punching. So, for example, there's one bit later where Josuke, the main character, is riding a motorbike and he's trying to get away from another stand that's sort of chasing him. and he's driving forwards, and he sees a baby and a pram in the middle of the road, and he can't slow down because the stand will get him. So he's like, no problem, jumps off the bike, uses his stand to destroy the bike, flies through the air in a cloud of bike bits, and then uses his stand to fix the bike back under himself on the other side of the... And every episode has at least 3 moments like this in it.
I love that.
It's like, oh, you clever boy. Ooh, that's good. And the thing is, half the characters they meet... I mean, the last season, Stardust Crusaders, everyone they met was a dick, basically. Everyone was out to screw them. In this one, about 50% of the characters they fought, they have made friends with and are now part of the crew.
Oh, I kind of dig that.
Yeah, and there's just like a wonderful... It started with just Josuke on his own with little Koichi, and now there's like 12 of them that are kind of intermingle, and some of them pair off and have their own little adventures together, and like they all kind of intermingle in different ways, and they kind of use their powers together in interesting and cool ways, and they're trying to work out the mystery of who the serial killer in town is between them. And it's just nice. You know, and even when they're mixing in some really weird stuff, like there's a guy whose stand is an electricity pylon, and its thing is that you can't leave it. Once you go in it, you have to stay there, and you can only leave when someone else comes in. And if you try and leave, it will turn you into part of it, so your body goes all metal and pylon-y. It's an independent stand in that respect, and it kind of... It's fine. Like yeah, okay, yeah, I'll buy that. And there's an alien in it now, out of just for no reason, or that I can tell. He's like, yeah, I'm an alien. I can shapeshift. And they're like, yeah, okay, good joke, dude. And they start laughing, like, oh man, you laid in a field of you laid in a crop circle all day just to get us like this. It's a good joke, man. It's a good joke. He's like, no, I am an alien. Like, what? I can shapeshift. Look, and he turns into some sneakers and runs away. And then they decide to use him... Josuke, the main character, decides to use him as a pair of dice to go and cheat one of the other characters, who's like a manga artist, out of some money. Playing Chin-Chirin, I think the game is called, where you throw 3 dice in a bowl, and it's kind of based on the numbers that come up, you kind of win more money, or, you know, you're basically betting it. It's like poker, but with dice. But the alien, because he's an alien, doesn't understand, and first roll is like a 666, which is the best you can do. It's like, oh, no, don't start that hot. No, okay. And he passes the dice over to his opponent, and he throws them in the bowl, and it comes up as a 1, 2, 3, which is the worst possible roll you can get. It's like, oh, no, come on, understand. And it happens like 2 or 3 more times, like, oh my God. And the dice start, he then starts puking out of the dice holes because they're throwing him around so much, and he starts to vomit. It's weird. But it's, like I say, it's very self-aware, but it is fun. And there's definitely a sense of, like, heroism and, like, friendship. And, like, the bonds of, like, they're all trying to work out the mystery together. And they're all on the lookout for each other. And I've not got to the bit yet. And I know it's coming because it always happens when you get near the end of the season and people start totally getting punked and dying. Because in each season, at least one person that I have given a large amount of shits about has died horribly. But heroically.
I'm really surprised that you've not been tempted to pick up one of the video games yet.
Well, the thing is, I've tried the demo for one, and I didn't like it.
Okay.
It was a very, very Japanese fightery. And I mean that because they, like, all the ones I like are Japanese. It's more Street Fighter than Tekken. Well, the first one was anyway. And you know me, I'm a Tekken boy. I can't deal with super power meters and EX moves and things. I just like to have all my moves available from the start. I didn't quite get on with it. And the recent one that came out is like a 2-on-2 fighting game, kind of like the Naruto ones, where you're kind of...
I saw one where they were running across like building tops and stuff and chasing people down, and it seemed to be a bit more free flowing.
I think that's the new one, Eyes of Heaven. Yeah, that's again, it's like a 2-on-2 arena type fighter where you can run around a bit. And I tried the demo. I kind of got my fill of it quite quickly. It's not really my kind of fighting game, but visually and like aesthetically,
nice.
Everything I want. Like, it's beautiful.
I suppose if you ever see it like super dirt cheap, it might kind of fill a little space. Even if
it's a curio, isn't it, for the collection? And well, my Christmas list this year has been very easy. I've just written JoJo stuff on a bit of paper and given it to Laura. So yeah, I'm now kind of up to date as I can be. The new episode's out, but we haven't watched it yet. And it's killing me that it's out and we haven't watched it yet because I know we're nearing the end now.
I got you.
And it's ramping up.
Isn't it kind of sadness as well as kind of an excitement for resolution?
Well, no, because I've got 5 more parts of manga downloaded, ready to go.
Oh, okay.
So as soon as I'm done, that's it. You've lost me for a week.
So it's just the end of this series rather than the end of it.
We're watching this together, and then I need to get on with it because there's 4 more things, and the way the seasons are coming out, I'm not waiting 5 years to watch that. I'm reading it now. I wish to know because I've read some one-off sentences, and I'm like, I'm sorry, what? I need to know how we get to that point. And I can't wait to find out. But yeah, it's lovely. You know, JoJo is so nice, and it's life-affirmingly happy at times. And it's entered that category of show, like Gurren Lagann, which you probably know from the other shows. I do love that as well.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
It's just good telly.
But I like the thing that we'll probably agree on with Gurren Lagann as well is that, and it's something that I love when it happens in stories where something happens and then you don't think they can top it and they go bigger, and they don't think they can top it and they go bigger, and you just left kind of like scrunching into the back of the sofa going like, oh my god.
Yeah. And then it knows, like, when it's getting ridiculous, it gets ridiculous, and then when it gets serious and all heroic, you're like, oh
yeah.
No!
Yeah, we're of one mind on this.
I had a problem the other day. I went on YouTube and a highlight from near the end of the season clicked up, and I thought, oh yeah, that was cool. I'll watch that again. And within like 30 seconds, I was like, no, it's this bit, isn't it? Oh no, I don't think I can watch this again. But yeah, man, JoJo, it's up there. It's in terms of happy shows, particularly in these current times, and you need a pick me up. I can think of nothing better. Think of nothing better. But don't watch the Toonami version because the Toonami version has incredibly terrible subtitles, dubbing. Every character kind of speaks a bit like this.
At least they're not doing that thing that they did with, was it One Piece where they replaced all the guns with water pistols?
Oh God!
Was it in the 90s?
No, they didn't.
Yeah, I think so. Like the original. Like,
did it? You murderous!
I don't know. Right, I've got a quick one for you, but it's very cool.
Hit me.
I watched a film from 1965 called Monster Zero.
Right,
you're going to love this premise.
Hang on,
I know you're going to love this premise.
That's a good name.
So, humanity discovers Planet X and sends 2 astronauts across the galaxy to explore. Upon landing, they're confronted with massive electrical storms and the disappearance of one of their team and the rocket. There they meet the Xylians, the mysterious leader, the Controller,
right,
and a proposal. The electrical storms that ravage the planet are the rage of the 3-headed flying behemoth, Ghidorah. Once the beast is defeated, the aliens vow to give us the cure for cancer. In return, they request the use of Monster 1 and Monster 2 from Earth. Godzilla and Rodan. But can we trust them?
What?
I watched the Godzilla documentary on YouTube, and the host proclaimed it as his favourite monster movie, mainly given the level of awe with which he watched it as a kid. The set design, the aliens, and the use of light in particular are wonderful, but man, the model making and practical effects are a delight. Like, indeed, like there's a good 20 odd minutes towards the end as Earth is trashed with just loads of like buildings blowing up that have clearly been intricately made, like curtains at windows and things, and they just you just see like monsters wandering across sets and treading into them, and huge explosions going off. There's loads of model tanks that are actually firing missiles.
Nice.
Like the missiles have fire on the end of them. There's smoke coming out of the tanks, and they're going like a poo 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 poo, like coming out of the models. It's just a joy. It's it's a little bit hokey. It's a little bit quirky. There's a plot device in it which is you kind of wonder where it's going to go when you get an idea of it. It's like, oh, but that premise is just genius. And there's some really lovely stuff in there. I loved it. I watched it in one sitting and just I don't know. It was one of those that just left me beaming. It's really good. And also, there is like a really daft bit at a certain point where I don't know what it is with Godzilla, where he celebrates a little bit and does like this kind of what can only be described as like a little Russian jig. I was like, what?
Godzilla, no.
It was great. It was
Wait,
a good
does
film.
he try and like serve Ghidorah?
Serve him in what kind of way?
In funky hip ghetto style, when you go up to another gang of street toughs and you dance at them, and they can't or they dance back but not as good. You have served them.
I can't quite remember the context of the jig, but it was a celebration, and it really kind of. And I'm sure the music like went like a.
What? No.
This little dancing music, and but yeah, you kind of take it as you find it with this. It's yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was great. Recommended.
That sounds mental.
Yeah, but good.
Yeah. So I've got a biggie thing to tell you about.
Okay, I'll save my biggie thing for after yours then.
Okay, I've got a few things I could talk about, but I think I need to talk about this now. I owe it to someone to talk about this now. So, regular listeners of the show will know that we have a friend named Pete. Our friend named Pete Cleaves, who's a lovely man who works for PlayStation, because that's his only identity now. That's how I tell people he's my friend. And he came to visit me a few weeks ago on the week of Laura's birthday. And he came down and met me, and we came up to my house, and he brought a couple of toys with him.
Okay.
Lovely Pete brought with him his PlayStation VR headset.
This is interesting. I'm curious to
I have
to hear what
entered
you make
the
of this.
VR zone. I've been there, and the Too Long Didn't Read version is, it was very good, and I'd like to live in the VR zone now, please.
What did you play?
Okay, so after the initial setup, which was actually remarkably quick, all things considered, it was basically plug it in, clear space, sit on table, go. Like, not sit on table, set up table even, and go. The headset itself is remarkably comfortable. It accommodates my glasses, so I can wear my glasses if I wish. I chose to take them off because I was finding the focus was a little bit better with them off. But these are new glasses as well, so maybe I've not quite got used to it yet. Headset's nice and comfy. It works with the PlayStation Move controllers and your regular DualShock 4.
Of which you've both got about 8,000
400 billion. I bought my Move controllers for Resident Evil 5, so I've had them for a while. And we played that whole game with the Move controllers, and it was good shit. Cool. Let me tell you. So we, obviously, being a Sony pony, I had all the stuff except the headset, so it was all here, good to go, which was handy. Initial impressions, you put the headset on, and you think, oh, this is just a black screen, and then the words start appearing, and you can move your head around, and the words are staying still, but you're moving. It's like, ooh, okay, this is cool. And then when the game actually kicks off, and you're sort of following a little light sprite around like a Roman Colosseum type area, and it flies around you, and you can look behind yourself and look around, and I could hear Laura laughing on the sofa next to me, watching me staring, like just gooning around, just kind of flipping my head back and forward, following this little light around. And then when it's kind of calmed down, it lets you try out a bunch of different experiences. This is the PlayStation VR Worlds game that we initially booted up as a first try. Interesting thing, if you look down, you can actually see your controller in the VR space, and if you move it around,
cool.
It gets better. Even better. As you press buttons on the controller, those buttons kind of have a little whoosh flame effect on them.
Oh, cool.
Even the move, the touchpad in the middle, it lights up where you push it.
Oh, that's really neat. I like that a lot.
It's so
I hadn't
good.
heard that from anywhere, so that's pretty cool.
Once you see it, like, oh, cool, and you can kind of wiggle it around and shake the controller about.
It's a nice touch, isn't it?
It's amazing. Everything you see in front of you is interactable. So, for example, I selected the first game to play, which was the shark demo. But before you do, the orb that you followed around turns into like a ball of water in front of you. And if you wave your controller forward through the ball of water, it splashes it. And it's weird and brilliant, because other games in this, you can hit like balls and they'll fly away and ting off of stuff. It's just a nice little thing they didn't need to do. Like, the thing about this VR world is, while they're not very long, they're very, very polished. Like classic first party, hey, look at this tech stuff. It's very polished. So we tried the shark one first, where you're sitting in a cage, and you're underwater, and you're kind of being lowered slowly through like a seascape, and you're seeing a bunch of different fish fly past, and there are stingrays and turtles and jellyfish, and it's weird. And I found a little bit dizzy looking down as I was going down, because there was nothing underneath you other than the cage and, you know, the empty vastness of the deep. But again, Laura was laughing because she turned around and I was sat there with my VR headset an inch from her face, staring intently, because I was looking at a fish and I was trying to get close to the fish, and she was an inch away going, "Go away!"
Why didn't she film this? This would have been gold.
Well, I believe there are a couple of pictures floating around.
But where is the video, Laura? Where is the video?
Hit up Pete. He will have those. So Pete was playing the role of guidance. He was sitting back and watching us goof around, which was fun. So you go down and the shark's coming. And as you kind of hit the base, you see like almost an Uncharted submarine wreck down the bottom.
Oh, cool.
Which is cool when you look around and you sort of start hearing something. Like, what the hell's that? And you start seeing shapes in the distance that are like, it's like, shadow, what's that? And then you see the fin. And you're like, oh, fuck. The shark will swim around you for a bit. He swims behind you, and you can totally like trace him behind you as well, and kind of flip around and catch him coming around the other side. The shark then starts to attack the cage you're in, and even though you know it's coming, it's pretty fucking terrifying.
I'll tell you, mate, I've got such a sense of immersion, and this is one of the things that worries me about VR. We've got such a sense of immersion that my brain wouldn't go, "You're in your living room, it's fine. Thing can't get you, it's fine. Why would it get you? You're in your living room." I would just like...
I think the fact that the graphics aren't quite pin sharp, like it's not the highest res, it does help. That slight sense of I'm not really here, but oh shit, there's a shark.
I'd still be panting it.
It rips the cage, the front off the cage. So you're sitting there, open to the elements, with this shark swimming around, angry for blood. And it's proper scary, proper fun, proper kind of as you go through. And like just a really good demo, you know, like a really, really good demo of what the VR can do. You know, if you're just sitting in a space and enjoying a thing, like you can't press any buttons, you just sort of watch almost. But the next one we tried was a bit more interactive. The next one we tried was the London Heist, which was the sort
shooty gunny one.
Geezers,
Yeah.
Snatch, Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, you slag. One of the guys did call me a slag, and it was good. So this one is like about a heist that's gone wrong, and you start it tied to a chair with a rough, tough guy up in your shit. Like, where is it? Where happened? What happened to you? And it's like right up in your face, and you're like, oh, this is quite good. And the animation's dead on. Like it looks pretty real. You know, like this is happening. I'm in a dirty warehouse, and there's a man with a light in my face asking me where the thing is. I'm like, I don't know where the thing is. I'm sorry, I don't know. And if you kind of move your head around, he follows you as well, because the camera actually tracks you in 3D space. So if you kind of sidesteps to the left almost, he will turn his head and follow you. You're like, oh, don't look at me. Oh, I hate it. No. And then it cuts to the next bit where it shows you how to use your controllers. Now this is where you start using your move controllers. And when you look down, your move controllers are basically your hands in the game, and you see two leather gloves like appear, and you can wave them around independently. And if you press the trigger on the back, the hands will grip into like a gripping action. So obviously the first thing you do is you wank off for a bit in VR, which is fun. You know, you look down, hey, look at me go. And then it's like, hey, here's a thing, pick it up, put it in the tray. Okay, I've done that. And here's a gun, pick that up. You're like, oh, cool, I've got a gun, there's no bullets in it. I says, cool, here's some bullets. So you pick up the bullets, and you kind of have to put them in the gun with your hand. You have to kind of move your hands together to kind of lock it in.
Okay.
Then you can kind of have a bit of a shot. You know, you can sit there and shoot at nothing for a bit, like bang, 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 bang. And it's like, okay, cool. So throw the gun in the tray when you're done. And then another set of bullets appear. Like, I'm not fucking done. No, sir. And after a bit of experimenting, like, you can drop the gun on the table. And I thought, well, I wonder if I can, like, catch it. So I sort of put one hand above the other, and I let go, and I caught the gun in the other hand. Like, ooh, okay, right, okay. And what else can we do? So then I experimented with throwing it and catching it. And it turns out, yes, you can flip the gun a full 360 and catch it with the other hand.
That's mental.
It's amazing. I spent maybe 10 minutes there. And Pete was telling us that he spent 30 seconds and moved on. I was like, nope.
It's just like you to be like, do, 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 do.
Revolver Ocelot. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So I did that, and then it cuts back to the warehouse, and there's another guy turns up who calls you a slag. You cut to a bar, and you're sitting at the bar, and it gives you a lighter and a cigarette, like a cigar even. You're like, well, of course this is happening. So you light your cigar in VR, and you hold it up to your mouth, and if you blow, it's got a microphone, and smoke will come out in front of you.
Oh.
It's so good. And when your kind of boss turns up and sort of shows you this little pouch book with all his contacts in, if you reach out and grab it, he'll take it away.
Wow.
It knows. You're like, oh, please. There's a bit of a shootout later on where you're in the bank kind of stealing this big diamond. You have to solve a puzzle on a table to open up a box. And then dudes turn up to start shooting you. The first shot I did was a single headshot. Like, boom! Like, oh my god, this is brilliant. I am in this. And my next few shots were not as good. Like, I wasn't as accurate on that rest of it as I was in the first shot. But the first shot was great. And then you end up in a van driving down a road. You're in the passenger seat and you've got an Uzi. And you can play with like the glove box. You can look in the glove box, and you can play with the radio, and you can bring down like the sun visor. You can even play with the little air vents in the front panels of the car. You can wiggle them around so the air points in the right direction. You can open the door, and your driver will turn around and go, "Shut the bloody door, you idiot!" Like, oh, sorry. And lock the door shut behind you. Then goons on bikes turn up. Be like, right, shoot the slags. I'm like, cool. I've got a Uzi in my hand, and I'm going to shoot them. And I shot a few slags, and it was fun, and I ran out of bullets, and there's a big crate of ammo next to you. This is where Laura started getting pissed off, because I kept punching her in the leg, because she was where the ammo was. So the cool thing is, it tracks you completely in 3D, even if you're not looking at your hand. So I was shooting the gun with my right hand, reaching down off camera with my left hand to get a clip, bringing my hand back up, and seeing that I had the clip.
That's awesome.
It's amazing. Like, and I heard Pete going, "You can do that." Like, I never even thought to try that. That was pro. I'm like, wow. So as soon as you finish a bullet, just lock the next one in and go reaching for your next one. It was properly good. Like proper immersive. And then as it ends, there's a bit where kind of the two bosses start having a fight in front of you, and it's pretty like good. Like they're right up in your grill, hitting each other. And then like one of them points a gun, throws the gun, it kind of gets knocked out, and you've got a chance in slow motion to catch it, which I did because I'm a cool guy. And then they both stand there, and you can shoot one of them. I opted to try and shoot myself. It didn't work. One of them took the older boss stabbed one of them, then turned around and stabbed me. Ooh. Which was funny. But like, I could have shot one of them. Damn. But yeah, London Heist was like my standout probably from the entire day, because it was maybe half an hour start to finish, and I wasn't dizzy, I wasn't out of sorts, I wasn't wobbly. It was just like fun.
It was
like,
just enough.
It was fun. It was perfect. Like, it was just like a really good half an hour of here's what VR can do, enjoy. So nothing but good news about that. Laura then tried the Batman game.
Okay.
Which was good and not good.
Okay, in what way?
Okay, so the stuff you do in it is quite Batman. So initially you put the suit on, so you grab the bat symbol off of the suit in front of you and place it on your own chest, and the suit appears on you. And then you reach out for your gloves one by one and kind of lock your gloves on, and you pick up the mask and put that near your face, and it kind of clips the mark on, which is kind of fun. You've kind of got to attach all your tools, like your grappling hook and your batarang and your detective gear. You kind of clip them all to your belt. And then the camera turns around to a mirror. And Laura's playing this, okay? So the camera turns around to a mirror so you can see you as Batman. The problem is Batman is now stood there with his hands very close together, right in front of his chest. Like he's going, ooh! All kind of tight and prim and like, oh no! So Laura then proceeds to waggle her hands, and Batman is stood there all grim going, wiggling his hands around. And it asks you to press a button to move on. So he very daintily reaches out and just kind of dabs at the button on the computer, which is really doof. And then you just kind of do Batman stuff in the Batcave. You kind of mix chemicals and analyze statements and talk to Alfred and throw batarangs at everyone and throw batarangs at Alfred, and he gets pissed off with you. She didn't like the moving between things mechanic, where you just point your grappling hook at something and it kind of warps you there.
Okay.
And I can understand why you do that to stop you being sick everywhere. I get it. But in practice, Laura was having a few problems with it. which is why she stopped playing at the end, because it started getting a bit twitchy. But there's a section you get to after you get out of the Batcave where you essentially are replaying a crime scene and doing the Batman detective vision thing where you put the crime scene together and you're trying to analyse clues. So she's kind of looking around in VR and trying to pinpoint the point where the attacker kind of murdered the suspect. Like, oh, there's the ribs going. Oh, there's his neck broken. And sort of putting a profile together, which was kind of neat, you know. It was kind of cool. But the actual movement she found difficult. And like there was a later bit where you're investigating a morgue. And she found that very kind of awkward to deal with. So it like visually looked amazing. But in terms of the actual play, wasn't as good as some of the others we played, which is a shame. But it was fun to watch because you can watch what they're doing on the TV while the person in the VR zone is in there. You can watch on the TV what they're seeing, and it was all right. You know, it was okay. But then we played a better game.
Okay. We
played a better game, a game called Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a bomb defusal game. Okay, you have essentially it's a kind of asynchronous co-op. So the player in the VR zone has a bomb. They have like a briefcase bomb. And on that bomb are various wires and buttons and switches, all with different labels on, and like batteries on the side, and all sorts of weird stuff. The players on the outside have a manual. And Pete actually printed these out physically, so we had a physical manual to go through, which was fun. Okay. And the player on the inside has a timer on the bomb of like 5 minutes initially, and they have to shout out what is on the bomb, and we have to work out what to do with it. We can't see the bomb. We're working essentially over radio. So Laura's sitting there shouting out, I've got 4 buttons, and the one in the top left has like a smiley face, and the one in the bottom right has like a question mark on it, and it's upside down. What do I do? So me and Pete will go, hang on! Flip, 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 flip. What's the serial number? Is there a vowel in it? No. Right. Flip, 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 flip. Like, and it was this really weird kind of mad dash of like hoping you were doing it right.
That sounds like an amazing party game as well.
It was hilarious. It's so good. And it started getting really tense by the end because it ramps up the difficulty quite quickly as well. So you need to know which bit of the manual you're going to. Like they say, I've got a big red button. Right, button, 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 button. Does it say hold? No. Fuck. Right, what next, what next, what next? Right, hold the button down and let go when the timer reads 1. Like, okay. Like, it's proper tense stuff. So that was really, really fun. Like, I could have played another 2 hours of that game. That game was fun. And we were on the outside, Laura was on the inside. And it was just asynchronous but brilliant. And it showed how cool like a party game could be.
Yeah, it sounds like, you know, the sort of stuff that brought people together for Wii Sports, where people in the room, it didn't matter if they were experienced with games or not, that they can have a laugh with it. Yeah. That sounds absolutely perfect for VR. Yeah. Because everybody else is joining in at the same time and stuff, and there's that interaction between. I don't know. I like the premise in of itself is clever. Yeah, I can see that being a really big hit at kind of Christmas parties, and you know, getting Gran to figure it out in there, and yeah, it just sounds ace.
Just neat, man. It was neat. You know, it was really. And once she's worked out that it's just up, down, left, right, X, and circle, like fine. Like it's really simple when you're in the VR zone, explaining what you can see, and you just got to hope that they can explain it good enough that you can understand. Like it's. It's great. It's really like and it's in the same way the Wii U did almost, where you've got the one person on the pad with Nintendo Land.
Oh God, we had so much fun with that, you and I.
That I've bought you and I bought my friends I went to see else that weekend. But I bought you both a copy of Nintendo Land that weekend because I knew it was brilliant, and it was money well spent on both occasions. I've now bought 2 copies of Nintendo Land and don't own a Wii U. That's how good Nintendo Land is.
You know that there's a certain point where the Wii U's going to actually bomb in price soon because of the Switch coming out, where you need to get that sorted.
I'll pick one up for like 30p.
Not quite, but I think you probably still have a lot of fun because we did.
We did. What else did we play in VR? Shit, there was more. Gave Thumper a go in VR.
Okay.
Which was definitely a different experience to playing it on the regular telly.
Did you play Rares?
Didn't. No. Pete was only down for about 6 hours, and 2 of those hours we went out for pie.
Oh, fair play.
It was good pie. So we tried a few things. Laura tried Kitchen.
Okay.
Which was literally 2 minutes, but 2 very funny minutes of watching her being a bit scared and having this horrible monster thing crawl around from behind and kind of grab around the hands from behind.
Is that the thing that our friend Ellie was doubled up with in at EGX, or was that the Resident Evil 7 demo?
I think it was that.
Yeah.
Because it's a short demo, but it's a very fun demo to watch someone else play.
Yeah.
And Laura was saying, like, it wasn't the fact that it was scary, it's the fact that it was close. Like, it was there, and there was nowhere to, and I could see her shrinking back into the chair, but there's nowhere to go. And then again, it ends with you getting just super stabbed right in the chest in first person. Oh, it's great, really fun. I tried a luge game where you just moved your head left and right to go through traffic.
Oh yeah, I've seen
it was all right. It was pretty intense as you're going down, but because like it doesn't jolt you when you hit stuff, it's kind of, you're sort of quite disembodied almost, and you think you're doing a great job.
Immersion,
yeah, but if you were jolting around, you'd probably barf everywhere. And what else did I try? There was one more. Oh, there was an alien one on the VR Worlds disc, whereby you essentially are an alien sitting in a cockpit of like a walker mech thing. And you have to pilot the walker and kind of go through an alien landscape. And this was the one that I finally started getting a bit pukey towards the end, because I was hopping this thing around from like asteroid to asteroid quite quickly. But the sense of self was way better, because you look down and you can see like 3-fingered blue hands where your hands should be. And they're holding on to like buttons, and as you're pressing buttons on the controller, they're kind of pressing buttons on the screen, and you can look over and look at their weird blue fingernails. You can look to your sides, and you can see shoulders and arms leaning down like a whole body. And if you lean your head sort of left and right, like sidestep, the arms contract and stretch like they should. So you literally are the head of this thing moving around, like you'd imagine your own body to kind of be twisting and shifting as you move around. It was really weird, but really cool. Like, more of that, please.
Because I've heard, I've heard mixed reports, but the ones that I've seen in detail of the game that Guerrilla have done, the kind of esports-ish sort of game.
Rigs, yeah.
Yeah, that's supposed to be really good.
We didn't get time for that one. We had it ready to go. We didn't get time.
Because I saw Jim Sterling playing it. It looked a lot of fun. And like I say, I'm a huge fan of Rez anyway, but apparently that is just astonishing in VR.
Yeah, see, I've never played Rez, but if I wanted to play it, I'd like to. Yeah, it looked great. Like, it looks. I've seen bits of Rez floating around, and we just didn't get time. But I would have been well in. But the thing I took away from it all is that, like, PlayStation VR, more than anyone I've seen on YouTube, seems to be quite a social experience.
But that's good. I like that.
Yeah, like, people are playing it with their mates and taking turns, and you can kind of watch what they're doing on the screen and heckle along. Well, there's ones like the PlayStation AR bot games, Playroom. That's it, Playroom VR, where the character with the head on is like a cat behind a curtain, and the other characters are playing robots trying to steal cheese, and you have to stick your head out and look at them trying to steal the cheese. And you can kind of get right in and stare at them. And I don't know what they're seeing on their screen, but on my screen it looked very funny. Or there's one where you're like a Godzilla, almost like a big monster, and you're chasing them down a high street, and you've got to kind of headbutt signs off of buildings to hit them.
Cool.
And then you get to the end and they start throwing stuff at you, and you've got to then dodge out the way, and they finish by shooting you into space. And you shoot into space. You're like, oh no, where's the floor going? Oh dear, no. Oh dear. Oh, I'm in space now. Like, all in one straight cut, and it was cool, it was really fun. But yeah, like, I don't know if I'd spend £350 on it right now, because yes, the headset is fun. It's a good headset. It's it works. Yes, the experiences on there are good as well, but in terms of like the money you'll spend on those, I was quite lucky. Pete bought some of his games with him, but the money you would spend on those, like, almost double the price of the headset if you're going to buy a few of them. I
think my main consideration is that that momentum is kept up on the headset.
Like, it can't just be curios. It's got to be like the Resi 7 is going to be fully playable in VR. Like, I need more assurances that stuff like that is going to happen.
Well, just that stuff's going to keep coming, because I've not really
heard
lot about beyond that, and I know that the Pro apparently like makes things a little better looking and a little swizzier as well. But yeah, I'd just like to see a little more long-term sort of viewpoint for it, and see what's coming up beyond the immediate stuff.
But yeah, it's just I'd like it. I need more. Essentially, I just need a little bit more from it. And I think that when the games start coming, like as much as I want one, I know I don't need one. I'd like one. If one happens, if I win one in a competition or someone wants to give me one, fine, great, thank you. You're a wonderful person. Hint, listeners, hint. I'm so corrupt, so very corrupt. But yeah, I just don't know if I'd buy one for myself at this point right now. As much as it was fun, I've now had those kind of initial, whoa, this is cool. Like, I wouldn't go back and play some of those things again now I've played them.
Because you enjoyed the initial experience, and that was enough.
And they're done, I've got what I needed from it. And that's fine, and I think people really need to try it out themselves. Like, find your friend that bought one, go see that friend, and insist upon it, because it's really hard to explain why it's good until you're in there. And once you're in there, it's like, oh my word, like, I get it now. And I've been struggling to kind of verbalise why it's good. I don't have the language or the vocabulary to explain why being in the middle of a weird 3D room is brilliant. Because it is.
Yeah, you sound affected by it, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah. That was my VR experience. Thank you again, Pete, for coming down. It was a lovely day. We had a wonderful, wonderful hot little day, and a nice pie in the middle of it as well, to then get ready to barf up later, thanks to all the VR. But yeah, it was just tops. It was tops.
Cool. I got something else to talk about.
What? Okay. Okay. Let me adjust my chair again.
I'm going to adjust my chair.
Hang on. That was my arm bits. Okay.
Right. So last week was a bit of a horrible week for me, and I had a lot of waiting around on my hands. And I must have read every best Japanese monster movie list on Google in that time, bookmarking stuff on my phone and kind of making little mental notes as I went along. Part of that list was Monster Zero that I mentioned earlier, but a group of flicks that kept coming up were the Gamera trilogy.
Okay.
With praise lavished on the kind of straighter, darker tone and amazing practical effects. So I was like, yeah, all right then. Right, let's settle in for this. So I watched the first one, which is Gamera, Guardian of the Universe from 1995.
Uh-huh.
A group of giant birds, the Gaios, have been ravaging Japan, swooping in out of nowhere and devouring people, animals, anything they can get their hands on. Add in the appearance of a mysterious atoll out at sea, a floating island slowly making its way inland. A group of scientists investigate, discovering this plinth in the middle of the island with magical writing at the centre of it, which crumbles beneath their touch. Turns out the island isn't an island at all, but a gargantuan turtle with rocket feet and the ability to turn into a giant spinning glaive.
Right, I've seen the cover you tweeted of this. I'm with you now. Yep.
Gamera.
What?
So Gamera, Guardian of the Universe, will rise every time the Earth is in trouble and is returning to battle the ravenous Gaius. Like I say, this is from 21 years ago. It features practical effects with what seems to be a sizable budget behind it. Despite the entire flick costing just $4.5 million to make. These films are the biggest action movies that I've seen in forever, and yet, this when I'm going like, oh, this is what happens when you put a really big budget behind Tokusatsu, and it's like, But it's so well done. The sets are huge, lavish, detailed, and look phenomenal when they start to blow up. The puppet work on the Gaios is fabulous, kind of when you're in close with them and you see them like eating flesh. It's very kind of Jurassic Park in that regard. The story's amazing, with the Japanese government unsure of which of the battling creatures to go for at a certain point, which adds a little tension. It's written by Kazunori Ito, who was responsible for the first Ghost in the Shell movie.
Oh, okay.
The first Patlabor movie, as well as the entirety of Chris Mosher Obsession .hack.
Oh,
right. And so you're thinking like giant monsters battling, like huge things going off, Right, get this. The soundtrack is by Shadow of the Colossus composer Kawatani.
What?
It's amazing. I watched it and I was like, this was so good. So I then moved on to Gamera 2 Attack of Legion from 1997.
Okay.
This one centers on a group of space crabs that invade Earth, making their way across Japan in the strangest of ways, rushing into a distillery and absorbing just the glass, moving into subway tunnels, attacking a train, and killing only certain passengers, eventually moving into the city, repurposing a skyscraper, and building a giant flower bud-like antenna to launch a seed into the stars. Gamera rises once again, and in the opening moments is absolutely fucked by the creatures in minutes. They all pile on him, like you just see them like swarming from this skyscraper and just sort of trying to damage him. You just see Gamera wandering along and like screaming. They fuck him within instances. You get this amazing moment with a group of scientists where they do an autopsy on one of the space crabs, and it's literally a room where they've built the space crab, and you know they're kind of cutting into it, and like there's like steam coming from the insides, and they're trying to sort of analyze what makes them ticks and stuff. But they have no idea why the crabs are attacking, why they're attacking the people that they're attacking, and have no idea how to take them down, and neither do you, right up until the end of the film. And that scientist plan is more than just, let's hack the alien mothership with a Windows 95 laptop. Independence Day. Although the film does have a real fascination with, let's use a computer and look this up on the internet.
All I'm seeing is Jurassic Park's Dennis Nedry. I'm just seeing from Jurassic Park.
Cool. So think James Cameron's Aliens in Tokyo, and substitute the colonial marines with the Japanese army. There are very few ties to the first film, other than the breathtaking model making. The puppet work on the space crabs is just terrifying. They're genuinely scary things, and I probably liked it more than the first film. I thought it was great.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's a sequel that's actually for me better than the first film. So. After this, I had to watch Gamera 3: The Revenge of Isis.
What?
Yeah.
That's not the... Really?
I think it might be Iris, actually. I think I've got a spelling mistake. Yeah, it is. It's Iris.
Okay, that's remarkably prescient.
Well, as Archer found out, that wasn't really a problem until recently.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, it is The Revenge of Iris. So
nice.
The Gaius have returned to plague Earth as the Hyper Gaius, so they've evolved. The government discover a graveyard of Gamera fossils below the bottom of the ocean. In the opening moments, right, this is what sets it apart from so many action movies. Is the opening like 20 minutes, half an hour. The opening moments, Gamera takes out 2 of the Gaius in like the center of Tokyo at the cost of 20,000 lives. And all of the viewpoints that you see within the attack, rather than being like in front of the creature or from the top, they're from people in skyscrapers that start to topple. They're from train stations where like Gamera's feet like smash into the bottom of the train station, and like people are squashed and killed in the subway. We've seen people running from the streets and like getting killed with the debris. 20,000 people die because of this battle where Gamera is taking out 2 of the creatures at the start of it.
Wow.
Yeah, and where you get films like The Avengers where loads of shit goes off and you don't really see like the devastation. You don't really see like the human cost. Well, this puts the perspective at the human cost. And it's amazing because you're watching this fight and Gamera doing what he's doing, but fucking hell, you're seeing it from the viewpoint of people that are being killed, and like it's incredible. And this prompts the government to basically order Gamera's destruction. Meanwhile, there's a young girl whose family died in a Gamera attack in the original film, who raises her own monster, Iris, named after her cat, to destroy Gamera, unaware that the creature itself is the end of the world.
Right.
Third film is absolutely colossal. Stunning special effects again, practical work on a massive scale, with an ending that left me searching for a fourth film that just didn't arrive. The director sort of went on to do like his own Godzilla film after this, which I've seen a bit of, and it's not as good as these, but the entire trilogy on Amazon US is like $10, and it's essential. I already want to watch these again. They're just belting action movies, and there's certain things where you're looking at them and you're going, I don't know how you've done that, which is one of the real joys of practical effects, because you're not sort of thinking, oh, that's all done in the computer, because you're thinking like somebody actually built that. And there's a bit in the end of the third film where Gamera like wanders into, I'm sure it's like a train station or something like that, like stupendously high, and you can see like the tops of like the glass ceiling and like all the pylons and the metalwork like brushing against his like shoulders and stuff. And yet somebody's just built a really, really high, incredible model of this thing, and like little girders are falling down and stuff. It looks, you're just thinking the intricacy of the way that this has been put together. They're fantastic. They're absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I'm super nerdy about that. Although I found out that there is a film from 2008, which is basically a children's film with Gamera in it, where this little boy kind of raises a baby turtle that turns out to be Gamera, which is apparently belted. So,
right.
But like a completely different film. So that one's on my list to watch as well. But amazing creature. But Christ, these films are good. And like I say, that instance at the start of the third film where they're showing it from the destruction of the people that are being killed is gobsmacking. And at the time you're just going, fuck. Because it goes from like a really great action movie, as the previous ones have been, to you like a disaster movie with you as and everything sort of viewed from a human viewpoint as you're looking outwards and you're seeing all this devastation kick in. They're awesome. They're absolutely awesome. And like I say, Kawatani does the soundtrack for all three films. So all that stuff that you'd imagine the guy that scored Shadow of the Colossus doing in a monster film, he does. And it's massive. Absolutely massive. Every pun intended. But yeah, they're great. They're really, really great.
Sound it, man. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you get them? Is there anywhere you can get them in the UK legally?
No, you can. They've got because I looked on Amazon US. They've got the Gamera trilogy for around $10 to $12, or for $20 you get a box set with 8 Gamera films, and the others sort of stretch back to like the 60s and stuff. So you're getting some much older ones for like an extra $8. But Christ, that Gamera trilogy is so good, man. I mean, I can send you a link if you want to watch them. But
link me later.
Yeah, because I watch them through my Xbox One. But yeah, they are just corking. And at a time when big budget sort of blockbusters are a little more than a little stale for me, it's just nice to see not only 3 really good films, but 3 films that are really different from one another as well. And it's rare that you go through a trilogy and you go, second one was better than the first one. Oh, third one's better than the second one.
That is rare.
Never happens. But great stuff. And also, like the main protagonists of the film are a female as well, which is cool. You've got a female scientist in the first one, and this girl that's kind of connected to Gamera. She can kind of tell what he's thinking and stuff. The second one has those two come into it sort of some way later in the film when they're drawn back to what's happening in Tokyo, and then the third one has got them in plus the young girl that that raises the monster iris. So yeah,
wowzers.
Yeah, it's just it does everything right. The script is phenomenal. I can't praise them highly enough. So 100%.
Cool.
Them is my biggies.
Yeah. Well, I did have one more thing to talk about, but
That's cool.
No,
if you want.
I'm not gonna.
Or do you want to end it there?
No, I'm not gonna because it is getting to late November now, isn't it? And then in some point after January the 1st, because why would you do this in the middle of December? We have a Game of the Year show to record.
Yeah,
and I think I'm going to save these particular thoughts for then.
Yeah, I'm kind of holding back game stuff for the same reason as well. Plus,
and then
I just really
any
want to
publication
know
that put out a Game of the Year show before the December 31st, you're wrong.
Well, I think kind of after Christmas in that drift from 26th to the start of the year, it's kind of fair game. Cause
I saw one out as early as the 10th last year.
Was that us?
No. Yeah.
Oh, well,
we published it and then
January. I think we were quite late on ours.
We were like February. It's fine. Well, then we had time to think about it. In fact, that's better. In fact, let's do a Game of the Year list for 2013 because we've had time to really think about it.
We've got a few categories for this year's now.
Oh boy, howdy do we have categories?
We certainly do.
Disappointment of the year is going to be fun.
Right, well, I'm going to leave your bar now, Patrick.
Thank you for your patronage. That'll be.
Well,
you bought your own drink, so I guess that's £9.
I just want to see you, man. I miss you. Don't be a stranger.
Cool. Well, the bar. I mean, we're not doing as well as it looks. I
don't know. You've got it's a beautiful frontage. You've got your name in that Dark Souls font. I think you're doing a little bit better than you. No, I think you're being quite modest, but I still love you, man.
Oh, thanks. Well, the safe at the back of the shop is rather hollow at the moment, but hopefully that'll start to fill over time as people start to become aware. Maybe this could be a good advert for the bar.
Who knows?
Who knows? Well, thank you for coming, patron. Yes.
Oh my God! Look, we've got all of these people sitting in the bar that are listening to us.
It's a Christmas miracle.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.